So yeah, in terms of like being nervous, it's always like that.
Wait, let me check my. That is looking good.
We're twins in terms of
Yeah, totally. Is it not too close actually, or
It's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually like when people looking at their Spotify,
Okay, okay.
probably
Super.
they want to see who is that person. Who is the one that is talking here?
Okay,
So
super.
you're ready?
I think so. Wait. So the learnings, yeah, I think I have it. I'm not preparing it, but just to have the
Mental structure.
mental structure. I think.
And for
it's
everyone
the-
that is listening, like as you can see, there's nothing more spontaneous than this moment, right?
Yeah.
You're just,
So we already recorded.
we don't know if we want to keep it or not, but just in case.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then also when I introduce myself, I just speak about like a couple of minutes about
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Who you
Okay.
are, whatever comes to you. I think that would be perfectly perfect.
Okay, super. Okay.
Yeah?
So I think
You ready? You happy with the lighting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcos, co-founder of Find Your Flow. I have the privilege to be here today with Giovanna.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
Well, I'm going to spoil a little bit, but Giovanna and I worked together back in the Dermalogica Unilever Prestige days, and ever since we have became friends. So she kindly took the time today to be here. So thank you very much. I'm going to do a little bit of an intro, and then
Yes,
we jump
please.
into this exciting time. Thank you for being here.
Super. Thank you for welcoming me.
Okay, so why we're here? We are here because we want this moment, this conversation, to serve as a support and or inspiration for someone else to feel good and alive every day. We were talking earlier that we don't have to wait for the weekend or for the holidays or for the break for that to happen. If we carve out space for feeling good and alive every day, the overall quality of our lives is going to be better. So yeah, that's why we're here. That's our intention. It's going to be perfectly imperfect because we have just did a little bit of preparation, and I think that that's the beauty of this. We want to be spontaneous, and we want to create a moment that is not going to be pre-written. So we're just going to go with the flow, and then I think that Giovanna now is all on you, and if you can tell us who are you, a little bit of you, so we get to know more, especially for the people that are just listening to this. So
they're curious about.
Yeah, curious. We would love to know who are you. Yeah.
Fantastic. So thank you, Marcos, for the intro, for welcoming me here. To be fair, like I will just start saying I'm Giovanna, of course, already introduced, and I will start saying that I've met Marcos in a professional environment, and after that we started being very close in the meaning that our ways of working, our passion, the way that we were actually bringing pieces together that was also matching our internal values. So I feel that has become like a very powerful friendship afterwards, even when leaving the working environment. About myself, I'm a professional person. I started like my career. Then I moved in London, which is where I met Marcos. After that, I've also been traveling quite a lot, either changing my jobs and moving in different places, different countries, which I feel really shaped my being today. So I would really consider myself as a very driven person, like very dynamic. I really love to see changes, and I've got as my life, I've got also through a path which was all the time adding value to take me where I am today. So I feel this is also a bit of the element that really connected potentially the podcast, the theme of going with the flow, following that particular path, and discovery every day who you are with every experience that you come through. So yes, today I would really consider myself as of course, like professional ambitions, but also very very much driven by the experiences, by understanding what works for me, and then following where I need to go, following that path that flows of discovering. Then
amazing. But let's pause for a second, because you mentioned at the beginning of your articulation that you change jobs, move from here to there, and then you end up in finding what works for you. Were you always like that?
it has been a huge transformation.
But tell us more about it. Yeah.
I think, what I feel is that all the time that we make a change in our life, then we acquire something new, right? And I wasn't always that way. I feel as I develop, also my needs were changing. As I remember, in the initial stage of my career, I was learning. Like, of course, like we need to learn, and we need that particular drive to say, okay, I want to learn this, I want to move forward, I want to boost on my career. But back in those days, I was extremely focused on that element, and I feel I was not really listening to what I was needing. It was probably a good step. I never really regret anything. I feel in those days I was a person much more like career driven, but for how I see myself today, it has been a huge transformation. There has been a sort of spiritual awakening also that really made me make awareness within myself, the person that I am, the moment that I'm living. I'm not always demanding so much from my body, from my mind, from my energy. It depends on the day, but that's not the approach that I had back in the days. Like I was extremely influenced by the fact that I wanted to have a good career, whatever it was gonna be the surrounding, right? Whatever was gonna be my strength in that moment. So I really think from where I was, I made huge changes in the way of approaching my day-to-day, my life, my needs, and understanding who am I, and never going against those values that I feel are important to me, which of course also develop with time, right? Because it's always a journey when you are looking for a specific element to progress, then you probably reach a point where you're satisfied that you always can improve and can change. But at the same time, you also reach a point where you say, okay, that's probably where I can pause this side of me, this, I don't know, the career stage, and then say, okay, I want to focus on something else. I want to develop my communication skills, for example, or my negotiation skills, which it's also something that you apply on your day-to-day life. And so, yes, I think it has been for me a huge change. And I also would encourage everyone to actually go and searching that change and that inspiration to move across your needs in a different way, trying to identify what are the elements that every time you want to develop, because in then as human I feel we always need that wish to develop something, that wish to grow, but not all the time must be like career driven. Sometimes it's also like how we handle relationships, for example. One very clear example for me, it has been my last year in Berlin. So this year I've been learning so much about how I would approach relationships, for example, because I never put so much focus on that area of my life. I've always been like extremely career driven, so I was sort of covering that gap in a way, saying, okay, I have an amazing career, I'm super excited about it, I'm successful. But then like I could visualize that there was a little sand to put on a gap that I was trying to fill with this way, right? So in that journey in Berlin, I started basically taking out the sand, and I said, okay, I want to actually make this hole complete. So that's how I also started a journey, which in then it also helps 360-degree your life all around, right? So that has been different stages of life.
I love. Okay, you touch upon many things, but if I summarize well, you said that it has been a shift within you in regards to listen to your actual needs versus just focus on extremely successful career and ignoring those 360 needs. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Which is amazing. It seems that from your storytelling that you are now carving out space for many things on your life, not only your career. Yeah,
exactly.
You touch upon covering things that perhaps maybe you didn't want to deal with.
Exactly.
Just because I do have the successful career. Exactly. Yeah, which is incredible to see that expansion within yourself. And then coming back to the 360 degrees, it seems that everything is connected.
It is.
One thing influences the other. And I think that can you share more about that? Because putting out there what I see and what I have experienced in the past, it seems that professionals, we tend to wear the professional hat, yeah, and we tend to feel that that's separated from life, and the other way. But what's your view on that? Because you mentioned something very interesting in regards to this 360 view that one permeates the other and so on. So it would be good to hear from you if you allow us to, to understand more about that.
Yeah, I think this is completely aligned with the way of thinking that I have. I really feel that today I trust that everything happens for a reason, and within the space of having a particular job or a particular issue within the job, then also influence like all the other areas of your life. But that also unlock an element for you to discover a potential need that you have to work on, which not necessarily it's basically living only within your workspace, right? So it's probably a side of you that you might discover within a certain area, but that also reflects all the other situations in your life. So it's fully truly connected, and also this probably it's a bit more into the spiritual side, but everything that happens within our body that also reflects in our energy, in the way that then we approach things. So it's all connected, all the situations are connected, but also us as human, we're all interconnected with those feelings across. And the way that I see is the moment we try to sort one solution in one area, that also positively influence all the other, I would say. So it's really finding that that gap or that particular moment that makes you feel not great, because then you see you come at home with this and you keep on with that energy. So with that particular feeling that is within your body, within your mind, and then started influencing your health, for example, your relationship, your performance at work, and everything is fully connected. So what I see from my side is when I identify something, whichever area of my life it's impacting, then it also goes and influence all the others, right? So I try always to work on this to ensure that then the chain start getting the positive cycle, I would say. It's always about unpacking that particular emotion, that particular situation, figuring out what is not working and how it also impact our way of thinking, our feelings, and then also working it out. Because in then it's also easy, I feel sometimes, to say, okay, this is not working, but then how can you make sure that you are addressing that element, right? What are the techniques for this? It depends. I feel everybody has got his own magic formula, probably. Me, I like to be meditating about things, or I like to go for a walk. I like to also share with friends. I feel also that element of talking it out, it helps, or journaling out, right? So really writing down what is happening to unpack that feeling, that situation, so then you can digest it a bit easier to figure out what's the action that you need to take to make it work, and then consequently the whole circle of your life will take a different shape, a different way of looking at things.
Okay, thank you for sharing. That's really amazing. But hold on, is it that easy for you that you see, like challenges coming your way? Like, oh my god, this is a challenge. This is a challenging. Like this unfortunate situation just happened. But yeah, like just need to take it and look at the whole chain and see how this positively is going to impact your life. Because obviously, for people out there, including myself, is well, when things unfortunate happen, is tough.
Yes, it is.
But just wanted to, for people to also to get to digest this learning in the best possible way. Whenever challenges come your way, and whenever you unpack something that will definitely give you some learning for your life, and you always have that mindset of trying to take the positive, so the chain 360 chain gets influenced positively. Is it like that at the beginning? When the thing happened, how does it feel? And how you move from one place or the other.
100%.
Because from people, it's beautiful what you share with us, but then the
How does it
perception could be like, oh wow, Giovanna is like challenges. Let's take the positive. But yeah, I think that just want to make sure that people embrace this fully, so
Yes.
they see the full picture on how to, if just you can articulate how is that process looking like. As soon as something arrives to you, describe like how does it feel,
100%.
and then how you move from one way or the other. So yeah,
I think I'll go a bit more in depth in this, because
Please.
I think for me it has been a huge process. Like, I mean, when we were working at Reckitt, that at some point we really felt that environment was not giving us necessarily what we were needing to fulfill souls, right? And I remember, I think that has been my lowest time where I've been, and I felt there was no hope. Like, I completely felt that there was no way to get out of a situation that was completely draining me. And I remember you being the guide, and I remember when you took the leap of faith and you said, I'm going, I'm like, oh, this is brave. And I remember also the whole path that you accompanied me when you were like, in the end, life is in your end. You are great. You can do whatever you want. And that has been a huge help. So probably I would say that it really is important to have somebody around that knows you, knows your potential, and really helps you to see it. Because in the end, it's not that I didn't have potential at that time, but it was just completely covered with all the surrounding that was not influencing me in a positive way, right? So I was blind. I couldn't see any sort of light. And when you started telling me those things that I knew about myself, but I was not aware anymore. So it's all about awareness. I feel I started my journey, like understanding that this was not the way that I wanted to approach things, the way that I wanted to live, and starting taking action out of it, right? And then when you start getting action, and then sometimes I remember I was applying for jobs, and then an amazing job was coming up. I reached the last interview stage, and then basically they chose somebody else, and I was like, oh, and then you sort of say, oh no, but then you start realizing that probably that was not meant for you, that thing. And you start figuring out that everything helps you to prepare for your next. So then when the opportunity for me to move to Madrid has come, actually I was realizing, oh, thank God that there was not going through that interview, the last one, because that's where I feel actually I belong, right? So then you start seeing within the process that everything just prepares you for your next. And that creates in your mind a sort of vision that if it's not working out, there is a reason behind. It's not something that you need to take in a negative way. It's not the universe, is not the energy that you might need for your next step. And I feel for me that has been like life-changing switch that I had within my way of thinking. Of course, you get the disappointment when you don't get that the job interview or gone, or the offer, or you don't get that partner. You know, it's also in life, anytime you can get a disappointment from something, but then you realize that through the journey to get where you are and to get that particular rejection, or then it's a learning that you need to do, because what is meant for you will come. And potentially, if you didn't do, I don't know, 10 interviews before getting, in that case, the one in Madrid where they made me actually the offer, I wasn't prepared to be that shining within the interviews and the process that I had with that company, right? So then you realize that everything happens for a reason. And I don't want to say that there are always that all challenges are happy or nice or good to go. Not at all. Like, you actually will feel frustrated. And what also happens to me, like, I feel sometimes frustrated, I feel anger, and all of those elements, you need to take those feelings and leave them. Like, it's normal. Like, we cannot deny ourselves that there are negative moments in life, right? But at the same time, you know, and you trust that there is a process for you to go through. You trust that there is something that is coming your way that is really designed for you, based on your vision. Because also, that's actually a good point. Like, I always create my vision, and I know what I want, what I deserve, and what I'm not settling for less, right? So then I know that I go for the highest I can. If that's not that one, I know that something else is gonna come. So this particular way of thinking gives me the strength of going through the bad moments. And as I was telling you, one of the example, like, it has been like more of a sentimental topic, which I felt a bit frustrated and with anger, but that lasted to me like 1 week, rather when before going through the whole process, which lasted in the end now 3 years. It's 3 years that I go through this journey every day journey. And basically, before it would take me months to go through and to digest a situation. Now I feel 1 week I have that negative feelings around the whatever happened, the circumstance, and then I turn it around, being grateful for that particular experience, for the learnings that I got, because I know that what is meant for me is gonna be coming very soon. So that has been a huge journey. Again, like, started with feeling at my lowest point back in 2020, when was COVID, like 2021, whatever was the timing. So that really made me those moments. But then really from there to now, every time, every step, every circumstance was giving me something additional to add to my package, so that you start learning how to address situation. And again, it's not easy, but you start learning how you need to approach things, and you have that looking forward view of following your vision and ensuring that you are trusting the process, trusting the path that you want to get to.
Amazing. Thank you very much. I just want to pause and make an acknowledgement, because even though you have this mindset in terms of understanding that one is leading to the other and there's always hope to get to your vision and the vision state, there's an acknowledgement that there are moments that are painful, and that pain have to be lived and experienced. 100%. And maybe something that took you months before now takes you weeks or week, but that doesn't mean that the pain is not going to be there for a period of time, which is something that we don't like, as human beings. Like, we don't like the discomfort, and especially in these moments that we, like, why, experience like a range of emotions, as you mentioned, frustration, anger, and so many. It's like, yeah, it's not great, but I think that for everyone that is listening there, it's a journey. It's a process, put it that way, that has, its ups and downs, and the acknowledgement that it's going to be tough for a period of time is something that is actually healthy, because it's important to live it with the mindset of, okay, what is this trying to teach me, or where is this, trying to lead me? Which, back to your point, having this vision or hope, put it that way, into something that makes you feel, okay, it's going to pass and this is going to lead me to the other. It's essential.
I feel that's what really drives me, and then, like, knowing that what I want, I will get it. So that's something that really gives me it's not even an hope, it's certainty that will come. There is just a process to get there. And I feel the moment that you realize this and you start looking back, you start looking how things have been working out for you in the way that you wanted.
Totally, yeah.
It just takes the process, right?
Yeah,
so when you look back and you start getting the proofs, because we're human, sometimes we need the proof, right? So then you see that has happened already. So then you start believing that it's gonna be there, and that really drives you to continue to pursue. Of course, even in the tough moments, you would be feeling the pain, you will be experiencing some discomforts, as you say, but with the certainty that it's coming, because you've already seen it, you've experienced that whatever you want, you actually can reach it.
Amazing, that's beautiful. One quick question before we move into this learnings and wisdoms, within the mental health space. You talked about having the proof. We humans want to have the proof. Do you feel that as you're getting further into this journey, you need less and less the proof, or you don't have an answer to it, or what's your view on that?
Yes, I think I need less and less the proof, in the meaning that sometimes it still happens, right? I'm also right now going through a journey, a special one, of redesigning some elements of my life. And then I start taking action, and then I say, okay, I want this, I will get this. And then, of course, it's still challenging to keep that faith, especially if you're always trying to reach more. And then, of course, the process is always a bit longer, right? It's much easier if you want to build, if you want to get something that is smaller. If in the case you want to get something a bit bigger, then it takes more time, right? So sometimes during the process, you also need to understand what's the right timing, and I continuously keep myself trying to figure out that there is a past that for me, and I don't need so many proofs, because I've already experienced those proofs in the past. So I will just trust. But that's why I would say it's, yes, all the time you need less proofs, but it's still not easy, because of course, according to what you want to reach, you don't know what's the timing. And I think I told you once, like, timing, it's very relative, right? Like I saw a post one time, and it says, It's not the same thing being 1 minute underwater without breathing, or being 1 minute drinking a coffee with a friend, right? So timing is very relative. So in the end, it's also what you want to reach based on the timing that you need to get there. And if the path is longer, of course, then I'm also wondering, like, okay, I still need the proof. I know it's coming. I've seen already the proofs in my life. I've accomplished this. I made this. So I know it's gonna come. But yeah, it depends on the journey. Like, I feel for somebody that would be starting, they would need more proofs to figure out, like, okay, this I've experienced. I don't see where it is, and then you start getting impatient, and then the moment that you start seeing, one time you make it, second time it happens, the third time it's there, and then you less need the proof, you just more go towards the faith and the belief that it's happening. But sometimes it's hard when the path is larger, I would say.
Yeah, and to close on that, the timing, like 1 minute can feel forever. Yeah, especially when you're in this, painful moment or uncertain, or you just don't have the mindset, or I think that 1 minute could be very long.
Yeah, 100%.
And hours can feel like a second.
Yeah.
So
especially when it goes then weeks or months, and somebody is always in that space, right? So,
yes.
So 100% timing, it's very relative to the moment that you make that switch. I feel it also gets easier to appreciate those timings, probably, but not easy. I didn't say easy.
Okay, this is amazing. So thank you so much so far. Now let's jump into the second part of this mindful conversation. What is all around this pieces of learnings and wisdom that you would love to share with everyone else in regards to what works for you to nurture and maintain your mental health. I think that what you mentioned, there's an element of finding your flow, what works for you. So I think that whatever you want to share, it will serve as a support and inspiration for someone else that is trying to also understand better, their journey. So yeah, I don't know what is that you want to put out there, but now is the moment in times where we have the space for you to share, your piece of wisdom, advice.
Yes. I've already mentioned a couple of things in the speech. I feel it is very important to basically go with the flow, yes, and to trust the process. I think getting to that mindset, it's not easy, but as I say, like, all the time that something happens, then you can write it down, and you can sort of make your journaling activity. You could do it every day, you could do it at a need. I feel most of the people is doing it only when bad time is happening and they want to sort of get this out. But I also think it's very important to I personally write down everything, like from the good things that happen, so that I can really empower myself and get that awareness on the success that I've had, but also the element that makes me feel potentially not great. So trying to figure out what it is and how can I work on this. Very important is also to create that vision. I personally do it once a year, 100%, to have that yearly vision, but also to have that way of approaching things for the future. So really, where do you see yourself? What you want to change? Is it a relationship that you want? Is it a particular job, a task? So really write down your goals so that you know that basically your brain will start unconsciously taking action for this. And I think it's a practice that I do every year, and I really write down all my wishes for the new year, and then I look at it basically the year after, when it's ending, and you will be surprised how many things have been accomplished within that particular paper, without even you realizing it, right? And for me, it's incredible, like how you need to have that vision. You need to put things, you need to write them down. Otherwise, if they are just in your brain, it's losing a little bit of the power for executing those things. So it's really, I think, writing down things is one of the things that I recommend the most. Then going with the flow, understanding that if there is any element that is not working out, it's just not meant for you. What is working out, it's something, or let's say this way, what you want to achieve will come to you at the right timing and the right thing within the right space, within the right environment. So sometimes if something it's not working, which is a relationship, which is a job, whatever, then you just realize probably that was not the right environment for you, or what, not unconsciously, what was your wish, or you might then figuring out, imagine if you would get that particular job, then you would say, okay, then it's not the environment that I was looking for, right? So everything, it's designed for us to serve our purpose. And that vision, that purpose, it's something that you really need to discover yourself, writing down, and then your brain will start taking action out of this. Also very powerful, I think it's about taking care of your energy. This is something that really impacts the way that you express also yourself, how you reflect into your relationship, your physical health. Like the moment that we're not at our best energetically, then also physically we're not, we are having a pain, we're not feeling well. Then if you're not feeling well, you're probably reacting in a way that wouldn't be the right way for you to your partner or to your colleague or whatever. So I feel that element of keeping the energy balanced, it's very important. So that really drives you to keep your internal beliefs, your internal way of being, your being really. So that energetic element is fully important, I think. We really tend to not listen to it when we are extremely tired, and then we decide to still go to the gym, for example, or we decide to continue working 5 hours longer, and we don't listen that our energetic body is telling us we need a break. Then that's when you get sick, for example, right? Because it's your body telling you, I need that break. You didn't listen to your energy. It's all unbalanced here. So now I give you the break, right? So really listening to the energy levels that you have, and try to make them balanced somehow, is something that I've learned in the last year also. There are specific ways of doing so. They're potentially meditating, or trying also to have a walk, I don't know, nearby, if you can, nearby the beach or in the forest, like contact with the nature. That really gives you that particular energy from the ground, right? That helps you to feel better. And yeah, so those are generally the things that I would recommend. To summarize, write down things, everything, good, bad, vision, everything, because it really helps you. Take care of your energy, your energetic body, to make sure that also reflects around, and then we attract also what we are, right? And all starts from being an energetic being, and your energy will contain information that also reflect what you are exposing outside, right? And yeah, so those.
Very inspiring. Well, thank you so much for sharing. There's one last question that just came to my mind as you were going through. Please feel free to reply to it or not. You like, if you don't feel comfortable, you like perfectly perfect. You know, like, and we don't have to say yes to anything, to everything. So as you were going through, I was taking all of your learnings, which are practices that I also do, but I don't know, something came to my mind in regards to allowing this to happen within the workspace. We live in an era where things are changing. But what would be your message, for the employers in nowadays world and for the future in regards to supporting employees with what is needed for us to be able to go through challenges at work, have a better balanced life, to cultivate what we need, in terms of our energy. If today I cannot work 10 hours more, what is your view on that? Because there are many challenges that I can share with you as a founder, trying to make a difference in the space. But what is your view on that? What is the message that you would like to send out there to the universe, to the people, to employers, to people work, what would you expect, or what would you like, to change in that space, if you feel comfortable?
100%. I think this, I already have an answer, to be honest. Like, I have the impression that we as human, we all go through an individual journey. So everybody has got his own. So from my perspective, first of all, you should never compare yourself to the surrounding, because you have a specific journey which is yours. Given that, I feel that nowadays companies and employers, they are potentially creating a space where they rely on processes, they rely on policies, they rely on a lot of elements that are created for individuals as a group. But they don't consider that each person has an individual journey. So you cannot apply something for a group of people, because within a group of people, everybody has got different needs, different ways of seeing life, different energy level, different timings. It's impossible to say today that we have all the same, that we should apply all the same rules to somebody. So I think what is important is to, of course, you need rules, because otherwise there would be just a mess. Everybody would do whatever. But I also would encourage people to share their journey, what are their needs, and being sort of transparent with that, right? Because we are, as I say, all different, and we have all different needs to fulfill. We, first of all, need to share those with our employers, so that, of course, like, if you don't share, nothing comes out of it, right? So it's important to have the transparency, that openness to go and speak out what your needs are. And then also from the employer side, I think that there should be much more awareness around making the journeys individual for the person based on what their needs are. Because, as I say, we need rules as communities. We need to have some indications of how we need to behave, or how we need to, what is expected from us, right? But
guardrails.
Exactly, guardrails. But then you cannot strictly apply all of this to everybody. So there should be much more consideration to listen what are the needs of somebody and try to accommodate. Of course, you cannot go and ask 100 of it, but potentially, or yes, you actually can go and ask 100, but then you also can have a flexibility to expect to receive a 50 or 80, or it depends on the situation, really. It really depends. But the first element is asking, because if you don't ask, you're not going to receive. And the second is really trying to, for the employers to understand that there is that needs to be fulfilled. And if you want to create that 360-degree happiness, right, that starts from any side of your life. So if it's at work that you feel, for example, I want to be working 2 months from the beach because I'm super productive, then that should be that potential for you to do so, without fearing that it's not working, or because there is a policy. Of course there is a policy, but if it, for that person, works that way, and then it's a win-win situation, right? Like you cannot really apply strict rules to everybody, because we are all individuals with different journeys. So also for the employers, please listen what are the needs, to make sure that you're creating a healthy environment at work, that you're creating a place where people is free to speak, is actually open to be transparent, and also on the other side, of course, within the guardrails, trying to accommodate what are the needs. I'm sure if there is somebody that, I don't know, for example, is super productive in the morning and wants to start, I don't know, 7 a.m. and then at, I don't know, 3:34 just needs to go. I think that there should be the potential for this person to just leave, right? Not just because everybody else is sitting until 6, then you have to be there, or then starting 9 to 6. What is this word today? Like, I feel we've already experienced, thanks to COVID, and you see those moments that are super hard for us to appreciate, but then with what has brought us is the learning that we can work from wherever in the end, right? So why don't you also apply those learnings across your company, even though that moment has passed, right? We need to get the learnings and take them for the journey, right? Totally. So we cannot expect to go back on where we were. So this is what I would say, really, that from us working, it's about asking and be like very open. Nothing happens if you don't speak about. And from the employer, trying to understand that every journey is different, and we cannot just apply everything for a group of people. So that's how I feel.
Amazing. One very last one to close, just to deep dive deeper, and again, you feel free for to obey if you want. What is your view in terms of the contribution to the business, now working to the working space, when you are allowed, encouraged, and supported by the employee to look after your mental health? What would you say is the biggest benefit, for the business on that? Because the challenge, at least from the places where I worked for before, and still, I haven't seen any type of support in regards to really supporting your mental health. But in your view, how important is it in terms of getting the best out of you as a professional, because at the end it's your learnings, and the benefits that the company will have if they take it seriously? Yeah. What is your view on that, if you like to?
Yeah, I think what I would answer to this is most of the companies today, they offer mental health support. I would say where I've seen most of the times, like there are, but there is way too little awareness around it. So probably there is not a full consciousness of the importance of it. Second, which I also wanted to mention, is that we as humans, sometimes I feel we are a bit ashamed to know that we need that help, right? So, or it's a taboo sometimes to discuss, I'm going to therapy, or I might need therapy, I have a topic that I cannot sort out myself and I would need some professional support. So I think that's also a downside of the society today, probably. And what would be the benefit of all of us basically going to normalize this topic, right? I think, first of all, as we've already discussed, we are 360-degree connected. So the moment that your employer or your company allows and gives you that space, the immediate benefit would be like your satisfaction, your solving some issues, some problems for you that also will reflect in your workspace. So if it's a problem that is in your personality, your way of approaching things, the way that you approach things with your wife might also impact the way that you approach your colleagues, right? So the moment that you allow that space to be sorted, and your relationship, your approach that you use with your wife to have a solution, then it will also apply into the workspace, as we are all interconnected, right? So what is the benefit? The benefit is definitely making sure that this person will be fulfilling their life fully, which at 360 degree will basically benefit all the areas of life. And again, like I would really encourage companies to put much more awareness on this, and also us as individuals to, I feel we've already moved quite a step forward from the past, where when you were needing a therapist or a psychologist, you were like the crazy person, right? But I feel today is much more normal to go to therapy and to address some elements with technique, with professionals, in a way that will be driving you through your life journey. But there is still quite a gap there, I feel, and companies, because of their power in our life, in the end we work so many hours, they can really have that boost on awareness on the importance of this, and making sure that we are able to balance our lives, to make sure that we get the time for this. Sometimes, like, you need a therapist, but then you say, I work so many hours, I don't have time. But then the employer should say, for example, once a month, or every couple of weeks, could say, okay, this is the hour that is dedicated. If you want to, of course, you're not forced, but if you want to, this is the hour that can be dedicated for your therapy session, right? So you don't feel like I'm taking time from work, and actually it's the company allowing you, if you want to have that space.
Obviously, and I think that you touch upon therapy, but there are many things that can work for the individual. Could be therapy, could be having a walk, could be coaching, could be a mindful conversation, could be whatever works for you. But I think that back to your reflection, having that point of acknowledgement, and the company genuinely putting the time to create awareness and normalize that will benefit everyone, and the individual is 360. So if the individual has a benefit in his, her, or their personal lives, it would then come back to
100%.
Their colleagues, and to their productivity, to their focus, to their motivations, and so on. So again, breaking that disconnection between professional and personal. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was amazing. I hope you had an amazing time. Thank you for taking the time. For those who are listening, we're in Madrid. We managed to put this together, despite the challenges that you had this morning. Look, challenging times this person has this morning, and look at her, like, with a smile and ready to give everything that you have given. So thank you for bringing an amazing energy, an amazing message for everyone out there, despite the challenges in your house today.
It was a funny moment.
Exactly.
It was just funny.
Okay. Well,
but yeah.
Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you for being so given. And thank you, everyone that listened. I hope this moment served as a support and inspiration for you. And see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.